Hello and welcome to Patch. I'm your host Paul James, and today, digitally, I'm joined by Damo Camilleri,
Oh my god, I'm in the Matrix.
who I'm pretty sure is playing Fire Emblem right in front of me.
Not gonna say no, but no.
But that's fine, because we are here to talk about just that. Damo, you've been playing a shit ton of Fire Emblem Three Houses. So have I, but not nearly on the same level.
Yes.
And we're going to kind of, I guess, review it a little bit today.
Yeah, I guess we could say
you
that.
are quite the Fire Emblem authority, so I think we've got enough clout to be able to do that. So
It's weird because I'm like a Fire Emblem from Awakening. So from the DS to here, it's like, wow. And I know there's those Fire Emblem fans that are like, yeah, but do you know where Martha? It's like, yeah, no, hey, look.
yes,
it wasn't
we
easy
do know
to
where they came
access.
from. They came from Smash.
It really wasn't easy to access here in Australia. Like, I know there's emulators now, but there's so much for me to play already. It's hard to go back to old games and stuff sometimes.
And your ethics got in the way. You would never use an emulator and a ROM and pirate a game in such a way.
Oh, no, not at all. I mean, I don't know if you could buy it on the Wii Virtual Console or the Wii U Virtual Console.
R.I.P. You wouldn't load a Raspberry Pi with it or anything like that at all.
Oh. Don't give me the idea, Paul.
Yeah,
someone else might do it for me.
That's fine. Then you can wash your hands of any and all responsibility. But you've been playing Fire Emblem Three Houses. Firstly, let's start off with the elephant in the room. Which house did you pick? Why was it not the Black Eagles? And how much do you regret not choosing the Black Eagles?
Okay, well, I chose the Black Eagles.
Then you made the right choice. There's no regret here.
Congratulations. Made the worst choice out of all three. Are you shitting me?
It'll go.
Okay,
She's awesome.
before we start this review, let people know, spoilers may slip without a spoiler warning. Like, I will do my best.
Good, because I'll be traumatized too. I haven't even hit the time jump yet.
Oh, okay. Well, then definitely no spoilers.
But, I know enough because the internet is what the internet is.
Oh, the internet was like researching it as soon as I got to my ending. Everyone's like, "That can't be the ending," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's a fair ending." And people are like, "No, I need more," and I'm like, "More of what?" I think that was justified in what happened. But
well, Sarah and I did a little written piece on the website, and she closed out by saying, "See you on the other side of the time jump," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Well, that's okay because that was in the trailer. That was in one of the trailers. They showed the time jump.
I kind of weirdly went on a bit of a blackout for it. I realised, okay, cool, I'm into it. And I consumed heaps and heaps and heaps of Fate stuff before it came out. And then, as you well know, I never actually got to it. So I feel like I almost burnt myself out on it before it came out. So this time around, I went quieter, saw the gameplay, learned about some of the new systems and stuff that we'll talk about soon. And I was like, okay, cool, I'm happy with this. I'm good to go. I'll just wait for it to come out.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because even on my end, I completely forgot that they'd shown the three houses meeting again. Like the battle of the eagle, lion, and deer, or whatever they call it.
There was the battle of the eagle and the lion specifically.
Yeah, well, they do
because that's where I'm up to now personally.
Oh yeah, well, okay, well, yeah. So they do. So that's when the three houses meet. Yeah. For the mock battle thing?
Oh, no, I've already done the mock battle. No, there's another one. There was a chapter or something called the battle.
Yeah. There's three houses meet. There's a turret or something in the center. And Black Eagles and Blue Lions just go straight at it. And then the Golden Deers are chilling back. And then they come in and they're he's like, one guy's like, storm the front. And he's like, well, he's doing that. We better go join this fray then. And it's so it's just that but after the time skip they showed that in one of their trailers.
Okay, now I'm with you.
And so you got to see what how bawling everybody looked, and you're like well, at least the three house leaders, because your character doesn't change, emotionless blob she is.
Okay, so you're a she then.
Yeah, I always start them as a she, but I feel like the avatar sometimes feels right, like it was written for a female lead.
Okay, cool.
This one, I'm not entirely sure, apart from how much the characters all just want to flirt and bang you.
But there seems to be less just open... I mean, outside of me playing as the male the male character there, outside of Manuela, who is hitting on me in every possible way at every possible moment.
Can't tap that, son. I'm sorry.
Which is interesting given how forward she is. But anyway, I feel like it's not as in your face this time as it has been some of the others.
No, it's weird in this one because
is it because
like
they're students, so they're trying
subtle? Yeah, well, that's it. That's the first thing. But yeah, I think after the time skip, things get a bit more heated because obviously, like, I don't think you can get to an A rank with your students until after the time skip with the relationship thing. So obviously, A rank is where real flirting starts between characters.
Yeah.
Like, you know, there might be hints at it. Like, I mean, there was 2 characters that I did in the Blue Lines because I'm on my second playthrough. Calm down, people.
2 that you did. Nice. I mean,
well, I feel like the game. We'll get it. We're not gonna. I won't get off topic yet, but so yeah, there's 2 characters. Well. They get like they're on their D rank. I think C rank. Yeah, that's where you.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of the C rank at the the and
they fight each other.
I feel like myself and 1 or 2 are at a B rank.
Yeah.
And obviously, that's still pre-time jump.
Yeah. No, I'll teach you how to grind in a second.
All right, good. But so what have you made of? So obviously, we started by talking about the house itself, and you made the choice. And was it a fairly obvious choice for you at the beginning? Obviously, from what you're saying, it sounds like you've come to regret your decision since. But
yeah. Well, at the start, it was definitely the clear choice because just the way all 3 houses speak. They introduce the leaders introduce themselves. A very, very smart way to start a new game with fresh characters and leading you into big choices like choosing a house or something like that. It was like, it was like, the Golden Deers is like, Claude. He's, he has a beautiful smile, but there's some darkness behind those eyes. And I was like, ooh.
Oh yeah, they always gave like this. On one hand, this is awesome, but there's something in their past or whatever it happens to be.
And I think, like, I've always loved mages, especially in Fire Emblem. They're always pretty broken because, like, they have res, so they really just... I mean, their defense is shit, but, I mean, there's not a heap of ranged things going on outside of archers, and archers most times aren't that strong unless they're fighting a flyer. So I was like, well, this seems like it's going to be the easy choice, which is normally the first choice you make. So, and apparently it is. It's if you choose the black line, the black lines. If you choose the black eagles, and you choose the 4th path, I think they're calling it.
I've heard that there's like a 4th path of some sort, but that obviously is gibberish to me at the moment.
That's 18 chapters.
Yeah, okay.
So it is a bit shorter. So it kind of technically is the easier one because you're not dealing with as much, I guess, in the long run. I think it took me 60 hours, and that was everyone level 50, and the chapter ends on, like, recommended level 35, and I was like, well...
That's one criticism I've heard. Well, criticism, maybe not necessarily criticism, but comment, certainly, at the very least. It's easy compared to other Fire Emblems. I certainly haven't been challenged so far. But if I was playing with permadeath on, I would have lost 1 or 2 people by now.
You always should play with permadeath on because it makes you hate yourself. That's one.
I'm juggling a few, as you well know. I'm juggling another important game at the moment. I don't need that stress lingering over me. Given this other game is also causing me a lot of stress.
Well, like, it's just one of those things, like, because it makes me care about the characters and the choices I make a little bit more. When it's like, if I send him into the fray, there is the chance he will die. And it's a great way to get rid of characters you don't fucking like, too. I'm not that guy, though. There's nobody that...
So...
I won't say that. There's nobody that I hate. No, there are characters I hate. Fuck them.
Given the story that's going on here, if we've got people dying from the house, but you've only got this pool of, 9 at the very beginning or something? Obviously, there's others, that, like Monica and those sort of guys that rock up later. But and obviously others that you can recruit from the other houses. But if
Yes.
your relationship, rapport, whatever, is not there at that particular point, how the hell do you keep your house stocked up with personnel? If you start dropping like flies early on,
You don't.
great, game over.
Welcome to Fire Emblem. But that being said, like, you could just grind and make your avatar so frickin' OP that it'd just be like, Grouse, you did no damage. It's like, well, how's that work? And it's like, well, I'm level 90 and I've mastered every single, like, skill. I've got the ultimate skill list. I've got the ultimate abilities list. Like, come at me, Crow. Like,
that makes sense.
Especially once you get to, like, crafting your weapons and, the worst thing it would be is, like, if you were going up against... You've been up against monsters, I'm guessing?
No, not yet.
I know you would have come up across one monster.
Which one are you suggesting? Maybe I'm not thinking of it.
You would have gone...
Because I haven't actually done that battle with the thing in the middle yet. I'm up to that, but I haven't done it.
Yeah, no, so it's before that. Because you go underground and some guy has a holy weapon. He turns into a big mon. He goes...
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, of course.
And then you get the really cool, like, tutorial. And the final question is from Sothis is like, how do you know all this? And it's like, why are you asking that question? You should be fighting this monster. And so I asked it a bunch of times, I think, thinking it might be like Warcraft. You could poke an orc enough, it says dumb shit. Apparently, after 10 minutes, nothing happened. So, but
sorry. Now I did forget that it transformed.
If you're soloing them, they are a pain because some of them have those like gambit moves where if you get hit by it, you can't move.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to solo it, so if you no, you wouldn't be able to solo because you'd always have, if you were down, you'd always have your house leader and the avatar. So. You'd have two, but still, if you both got hit, you'd just be waiting in an infinite loop if you were getting, like, ganked.
Yeah, I'm with you. So, overall, you feel like there's plenty of new systems and bits and pieces have been added into the game. What are you thinking about those now that you've actually got a chance to experience them? Because you would have seen them in the lead-up and certainly the internet had its thoughts beforehand.
I kind of read about them more than I did watch them, so I was like, I don't know how I'm going to feel about all this. But, so we'll break it apart. So, first of all, overall, it's a fantastic game. Is it a bit easier? Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. I've never found Fire Emblem games to be exactly the most challenging things because there's always a grinding system somewhere. Even if it was DLC, I'd always buy that to help me out because it's like, damn son, like this is tougher than it should be. Like,
yeah, you game it a bit.
I don't want to see exactly. I don't want to be in the position that you're in and having that extra stress of somebody dying, especially because
I opted out of that because in the end, the only reasons I'm kind of losing people is because I am actually a bit over leveled, and so I'm just sending one person in almost like a wrecking ball at times.
Best way to do it.
They go all Miley Cyrus on them, and they inevitably end up dying.
Yeah,
That's how we
eventually wrecking balls crack.
Yeah. It's how Miley Cyrus's story's going to end, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Goes running into battle. And
she'll break a mirror. Oh. But no, so there's a bunch of new systems. So I'm guessing first of all, having 3 pathways or 4 pathways. It's a brand new thing. I loved choosing a house. I thought that was great because it just made you go, okay, this game has instant replay value. Straight off the word get-go, like, if I don't like where I'm at, I can either start the game anew, do the shitty, startup missions, or I can just go, okay, I'll see this through to the end, I'll make that choice next time, but I really freaking loved this character, I'll pick them up on my next playthrough, which is kind of what I'm doing at the moment, like, with my Blue Lions, I've gone, yo, you, and you from that house that I never actually even interacted with, but I think you're cool, so you come on with me. So I'm picking up a lot of people this time, so I'm guessing the next thing we should talk about is recruiting. And I think recruiting is a very interesting
talk me through that
mechanic.
Because I have intentions to recruit certain people, but my various skills, like my characters, their specialty things, they're quite high level at this point, but the other things are still being developed. So
so that's okay. Oh, well, then we should know. We'll get to that. So recruiting's awesome because it's an interesting, like obviously this is the first time we've had to spend action points on a day off. So you're gonna go around the monastery, your big hub and things like that, and it's like, hey, you need to get that skill up. You've only got like 3 points at the beginning of the game or something like that, and it's like, you can't spend it all on tutoring yourself to get those skills. So you've kind of either, because your avatar is capable of using anything, and that's a really interesting thing this time. Like, your class can use any weapon, they necessarily can't use any skill though. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I follow.
So like, I'm what am I? A thief at the moment. My avatar's a thief at the moment, so I'm going to go down assassin path and get lethality because why not?
Why not?
But I can't use the magic that I've been gaining.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I can't use the spells because my class doesn't have any ability to use magic. So it's like, oh, okay, but I can still use a bow and arrow. Like, if I pick up a bow and arrow on the ground, I get a rusted bow and arrow, I can still use it. Even some of my like Cavalier guys have been able to do that. And I'm like, oh, okay, so you don't necessarily have to be in that class to boost your skills. So there's always that option to grind out skills and stuff like that. So the recruiting though is I think it's great because it makes you like kind of go, oh shit, I have to adjust how I play, or it makes you go, in New Game Plus, a nice feature for the first time ever. You can actually use your renown that you earn throughout the game to repurchase what your skill levels were. So you could be like, oh, okay, I'm going to need sword, which I constantly use to hire this person. That's okay, I'll just get it straight to C, I'll hire them straight away. But that means I can focus on using a bow this time to get this person. Or, hey, towards the end of the game, I've got so much time on my hand, I'll keep getting tutored off these people in horse riding to get it to a level C. So mostly everybody, when it says they want you to be better in this and this, normally that's about 10 skill points in your stats.
Yep.
I think charisma is a 20 if they like charisma, which is just a bunch of tea parties, so that's fine. But it's a C in whatever they demand. So, if they like, hey, I like sword and strength, well, it's 10 strength points or 20 strength points, I can't remember for Felix, and like a C in sword. Once you've got that, they'll join you. So I thought you had to build up their relationship.
But it's just purely having the skills at a certain level. So
if you get the relationship higher, it lowers what you need. So you get a percentage chance that they don't actually show you.
It's working in the background.
Yeah,
but that makes sense too.
If you get them, I think I read if you get them to B, some characters to B, they might just ask to join your team at random. You know how like you do your lecture and there's be like, Professor, I've got a question for you. It's like, they might sometimes, or so and so wants to talk to you. Is this a good time? You're like, sure. Some of those times they'll actually just say, "Can I join your class?" It hasn't happened to me because I don't really focus on other people's like relationships.
Yeah, I've never, like you mentioned, the such and such wants to talk to you. Do you want to engage with them? At no point have I sat back and gone, maybe I'll say no. Yes, of course you would. Yeah, I'll have a chat. It's your birthday. I'll buy you flowers or take you for a cup of tea, which is very weird. But of course I will.
Yeah. So I've done that. I've said no a couple of times when I'm walking around the monastery, only because that just becomes a support conversation that you can just go into your menu in the supports and watch from there. So if you were busy, like if you were like, I don't like. No, I'm doing this mission right now. Like, fuck off. Like, I've got to get here, and I'm going to catch the big fish. Like, go away.
Okay, that's cool.
You can say no.
I didn't realise it got banked.
Yeah, that one gets banked. I don't think others get banked though. I think when they, during a class or whatever, that's a real good opportunity to boost relationships and stuff like that. Every time it says skip anywhere, I never press it because it's like, I might miss out on something, like somebody's birthday or, anything that could help benefit you know.
Yeah, but there are opportunities to learn more about the students themselves. So then, when it comes to tea parties or whatever it may happen to be, and there's opportunities to interact with them. You're actually presenting points that they like. You're not just putting them offside all the time.
Yeah, God, some of those questions, it's like, fuck, I think that's the right one, and they're like, I didn't think about it like that, and you're like,
yeah, early days, no, I'm still muddling characters up.
Not what you should be like. That's the best fucking answer ever. Thank you. So right now on my phone, I've got like 9 tabs open. Like 5 of them are Fire Emblem related.
Yeah, it's pretty similar to my phone. The other 4 or 5 are related to that other game.
Yeah, it's just like, like the different classes. I don't think there's any new classes outside of like the house leader classes and obviously avatar class.
Yep.
Which is interesting. No beast people or dragons this time, which was interesting, but I can...
But you're okay with that change? Or
not that I'm okay with it. I never used them. I never really loved them. I mean, I liked them in Fates. They were cool. But like, I feel like it's like, okay. I think they wanted to focus... Like, because they're always the people in Fire Emblem games that are like the race that's looked down on. Like, you're one of them. But this time, it's that... It's like... so in Black Eagles, it's obviously the Bridget people, like, and Petra's borderline a prisoner at that school, which is weird. If you're Blue Lions, it's the Dusker, so Dedao, that's it. Fuck. And I don't know who the Golden Lions hated person is, but they probably have one too. Maybe it's him. Maybe it's the house leader himself. They've kind of gone for the tan skin people are not loved in this game.
Yeah, I had noticed that little trend.
White supremacy from the church. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, who'd have thought in this day and age that you'd get that in Fire Emblem. You'd get the same sort of thing in Ion, something that just came out. You can go check out the Player 2 website for that one. Iron Fury. Player 2 has refused to review that game because of their transphobic comments in the game, as well as white supremacy based comments in game. So we got sent a code. Thanks guys, but we are not reviewing that.
Wow. I mean, hats off to Player 2, and I think I'll go tweet on that thing now. Like that would be like find a gif of a hat coming off. Like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, it's I couldn't. I mean, I was not familiar with the game at all, and then all of a sudden, the little thing popped up on Player 2. Matt had shared it via the Player 2 account and put a little message in a chat to let me know what was going on, and I was like, I don't know what this game is. But okay, if that's the nature of it, I've got no problems with you not giving him that sort of attention. That's fair enough. I'll always sit back and wonder that old saying, any attention is good attention. I suspect the game will perform very, very well off the back of this sort of thing, because Player 2 is not the only publication to be opting out when it comes to it, but we'll see. But, cycling around to Fire Emblem, though, it does seem like those of a... I suppose we can't say Anglo-Saxon, can we? Because it's a totally different world. But those who aren't of fairer skin complexion,
Caucasians, it's fine.
I went to go say Anglo-Saxon. Like, oh, hang on, it's a fictional world. I can't. Seem to cop the rough end of the stick a little bit.
Oh, okay. Well. Thank God that, Fire Emblem aren't doing it out of a place of nastiness. It's just come from a place of war. So that's, it's not the developers were going like, screw these people. It's like, like Petra's people, the people of Bridget aren't exactly hated or anything. I think they just lost a war, so they lost their region. But the people of Dusker don't agree with the church, which is currently in power, so... just think of France or Hong Kong or anything at the moment where
Things are
people are rebelling against the government, like so it's clever because it's not forced down your throat either. Like it's just like he's Dadu is very Dadu.
Yeah, Dadu.
Dadu's just like, if you get caught talking with me, people will start like saying shit. You're like, yeah, I'm all powerful in this game. Like, don't fucking sweat it, bro. I'll cut a bitch if he says anything about it. And then I couldn't cut a bitch, so. But no, oh my god, so sidetracking.
It's not an episode of Patched if we don't wander off topic.
Oh, that's fine. So yeah,
we might be doing this thing online, but who cares? Nothing changes.
Talked about houses, we talked about recruiting. Now the next big thing that came across were the gambits and the battalions.
Yeah, battalions really interested me. Gambits, I think it's still kind of early days for me when it comes to those. But
yeah.
Battalions, yeah, they drop that on you nice and quick, and that's a kind of cool inclusion.
Yeah, no, I like them. I like that, you can zoom in now, right in, and you can, like, walk your character around in this beautiful 3D plane instead of being up. And, like, your battalion's running with you and stuff like that. So if you press plus a bunch of times, like, you zoom in.
It zooms right into ground level.
Yeah, and it's, like, it's just really cool. Like, it's hard. I'm still trying to get used to playing like that. Like, I try to do it on the big missions. Like, trying to get really involved and like, whoa! But yeah, it's kind of cool. Like, I really hate when the enemy uses them because most of the time they suck. But if they do hit you, it's like I can't move. That one character that actually needed to move next turn can't move. Oh, far off. But
and that's that emotional investment you were talking about before, though, when it comes to characters dying and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
When someone drops something like that on you, that's it hurts.
Yeah, that's
Whereas,
true.
It's still early stages for me. I think I've had only the opposition use that against me once, and they missed.
Yeah, but most likely that one misses. Like I think that's pretty much the only one they will use against you. Is that like the ambush, or the guys running to the side, and they just hear, it's like an Age of Empires battle going on.
But I do feel like that ground view that you were talking about, I feel like it's a little bit inspired by, and obviously the gameplay is still totally different, but a bit inspired by Fire Emblem Warriors.
Yeah.
Not just being able to kind of lock down there and all of a sudden you've got a group of goons around you and all that sort of stuff. Goons is a little bit harsh, but that's what they are.
No, that's it.
Yeah, I feel like they almost looked at what happened there in terms of that visual thing. Like, yeah, we can do that. We can still play the game our way, but why not give people that perspective and you can have a bit of a look and take in the battlefield and flesh it out a bit more.
No, definitely. And actually, talking about not being sexist and everything like that in that game, the soldier voices. So, like, most of the times, the only time you'd encounter a female enemy in the Fire Emblem games would be a mage or a witch or some kind of character, like almost guaranteed that every soldier was a dude and everything like that. But now when you're up against these enemies, if you hit them and think, you can actually hear like the female voice acting coming through. They may not look incredibly different, but it's like, oh, that's really cool inclusion.
There's enough of the difference, though.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like, that's cool to see that you're like, well, there's this as well. It's like, thank you.
But in terms of the core combat itself, outside of the battalions, I guess, being added, it's still pretty much the same Fire Emblem in a lot of ways.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
And you're glad they haven't deviated too much?
Yeah, no. It's good that it's good that they've kept true. It's the same as like when you listen to a band that you like, and they have a similar sound. There's bits that are different, but they're still true to what they are. It's like that. It's like, okay, that's cool. I can appreciate that. And they're like, oh, it's the exact same thing. It's like, yeah, but it's still different. Like, they've refined it. They've made it better. Like, yeah.
Same but different is a totally valid thing.
Yeah, and like, that's the thing. Like, I look at this game and I think to myself, like, oh, okay, I see what you've done. Like, you're doing a giant beta test for your next game already. Like, they're like, we want to see if any of this new stuff is going to work we're still going to leave in all this old stuff that we like. I don't know how people feel about dragons, but do Fire Emblem knows. I don't know, like that starting scene. I mean, the crazy
that opening cinematic, that is badass.
Yes, that's what I was trying to get at. That fucking that's so cool. Just that
I knew I'd made the right decision the moment I saw that.
Everybody's like in the circle, and she just walks up and kicks him in the head. I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. And
then you see that and you're like, holy shit, this is a Nintendo game.
Yeah, no, that's it. And I mean, there's something really beautiful and pure about, like, I feel like this is something Nintendo needed. I know this isn't talking about the game per se, but I really feel like this is just straight off the on the fly. But I was thinking about it the other day, and I was like, fuck yeah. I was struggling not to play my Switch, but just to be engaged with it. Like, I know some people still play the shit out of Link's
Breath of the Wild,
and there's hype around that, and Super Mario Maker's still going strong for people. But for me, it was like, there's nothing that's gripping me like what a Fire Emblem does. Like, put all my time and effort into it. And, I mean, for some people, that's like Stardew Valley. They can eat up their time. Terraria, they can eat up their time. Valkyria Chronicles, all that. But for me,
and
it was like,
will eventually be Luigi's Mansion 3 for everyone.
Yeah, well, that's it. For everybody.
Game of the Year 2019, if it can knock it off Fire Emblem. Because Fire Emblem is, in fact, despite being as early as I am through this game, is currently my Game of the Year for 2019.
It's pretty phenomenal. Like, it's a different take. But yeah, again, I think it's just what Nintendo ordered, and that's not even me just being like a huge Fire Emblem nerd. I just feel like so many people that ummed and ahed about, getting a Switch is like, because even like, look, don't get me wrong, I love Breath of the Wild, I think it's great, but it's not extremely story driven.
No,
there's so much in that's just like open world and doing whatever you want to do. So
you make your own story in that.
So to have something that's like grips you by the face and goes like pulls you in and goes, freaking watch this. You're like, okay, thank you, sorry Nintendo, I won't look away again. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool to have. Like, it's about time in my eyes.
Are we getting DLC?
There is a shite ton of DLC.
I mean, I assumed it was probably going to be the case because that's what they did for the last two core games, obviously.
Yeah.
But maybe Valencia even got some as well. I don't recall.
Sure.
that was a remake, so I wouldn't rule out the possibility that it didn't have any. But that's fine. So yeah, what are we actually supposed to be getting? Do you recall? Are there some really big meaty expansions? Or I assume there'll be some
there's always a story DLC. There's always a weapons DLC and an XP and money DLC, but in this it's kind of strange because you don't need it, because when you go to do a battle, there's always a battle there that you can just keep on doing, and it doesn't use up your action points.
One that you can commit the ability point to, but then you got the other one that you can just spam the shit out of, level up, grind, do whatever it is you need to do.
Yeah. So straight off the word get-go, there is the Season Pass, which... No, fuck off, Nintendo, sorry. Oh, I apologise for my language. I'm just on the website.
Mate, it's not an episode of Patched without dropping bombs left, right and centre. It's alright.
Okay, so there's 4 waves of DLC. So Wave 1 is already out, which is just a alternative costume for Byleth.
Yep.
AKA the Avatar, because I can never remember that name. Wave 2, additional auxiliary battle maps, which would be great because I feel like the maps got really tired really quick for me.
Yeah, okay.
On the second playthrough, that is. The first playthrough, it was like, wow, it's still everything about it. I love this. But the auxiliary battles, like, now I'm doing, like, when I'm grinding, it's just kind of like, this is cool, but I hate this map. And now that I hate that map, it's kind of it's just a real...
It affects you every single time.
So Wave 3 is additional quest costumes plus a free update. That sometimes
everyone likes free.
Sometimes those free updates can just be additional story, like for nothing, which is cool. Wave 4, new story content.
Good.
That's fantastic. With additional playable characters, scares me, locations and more, plus a free update. So another free update. And it's for $30 or something, $35 I think for Australia or whatever like that. So I'm just trying to buy some more things and use my Nintendo cash to purchase that bad boy. Thank you, Nintendo. But no, so yeah,
plenty of good value to come.
Yeah, it's a very strange thing because there's always like a formula for Fire Emblems, and I love it. I love that they're staying true to that. Like I didn't buy the DLC from the word get go. I never, sorry, the season pass from the word get go. I never do because in the past I haven't played all the DLC because sometimes there's just like this spoopy horror map or something like that, and you're like,
yeah.
I think there's only, to be fair, there's only been really 3 Fire Emblem games that have had DLC, so they're kind of testing the water. But I think they'll nail it this time. So.
I'd still largely heard pretty good things about the last game's DLCs as well.
Oh, they were fantastic. They were fantastic fun.
But I can also, I can understand the being a little bit careful about the whole thing because it's a big ass game as it is. It's still a fairly substantial financial commitment for. We want to assume that the story stuff that they add, for example, later is big, but we don't know.
Yeah.
And because they're saving the story stuff till last. You kind of in some ways they're trying to push you into making a commitment, but then all the other stuff could be completely useless and the story thing might be really short or underwhelming, but you've spent $35 regardless.
Yeah, no.
So that's a decent approach. I'm sure it'll be great. They've got a good track record, but it never hurts to be careful. It'll still be there. Season pass will still be a thing you can buy at some point. Might even be cheaper.
Yeah, no, that's it. You never know when it might pop up on sale. Like Nintendo have done that before. I think I was about to say Donkey Kong. The Mario Rabbids DLC popped up on sale, and I was like, oh, I don't want that, but it's on sale.
Mario and Rabbids, excellent game. More news on that particular thing in the near future.
Ooh.
Hashtag Dev Diary.
Yeah, so none of the characters annoy me. There's one I found in the Black Eagles very rude.
Hubert. He's a wanker. Full-blown wanker.
Hubes the pubes. I'm just going to call him.
He just wants to kill you all the time.
Pepe Le Pube. Ah, see?
The relationship will change.
You haven't reached the time skip where he's still a cunt. Oh, yeah, Jesus, okay, sorry. People, don't make sure you're listening with this with headphones on. Don't let your mum hear that one. God. No, but he's still a prick, but he slowly warms up. You get to a relationship status with him, and it's like he's like, well, you're alright. And I'm like, yeah, about time, you bastard. I've done nothing but look after this
Save your ass
carry this entire team by making all the decisions for all of you players who just, you do everything. You walk into the battlefield, and suddenly you need some hand of God to control you all.
That's me, arsehole.
Breaking the meta, but who cares? No, he's interesting. I mean, how to Lindell or Lint, Chocolate Ball, whatever his name is.
Yep.
He annoyed me because he was sleepy. Casper's just not as good as other characters across the other houses. But I think that's awesome because I think that you play this game and I think they knew so many people would jump into Black Eagles, so they kind of nerfed their characters a little bit.
See, I still like the characters most. I don't mind Casper. I hate Hubert, but I don't mind Casper.
Casper's pretty cool.
Petra and what's her name?
Dorothea.
They're really cool. Edelgard, I was in straight away. She struck me as before she went totally crazy version of Daenerys.
Oh.
But before she went off the deep end.
Yeah.
And some of the other characters in that team, they're just I like the cut of their jib. And look, maybe my opinion will change down the line, but at first blush I was like,
Bernadetta's a little bit annoying, but Like,
where Bernadette just the crazy, oh my god, I'm scared everything thing does.
Everything gets old, but at the same time, you're just kind of like, well, that's
the character.
It's not breaking the character. It gives her character. Like it would suck to have, like in the past, there's just been characters that are lazy. At least like, the lazy character in this is still willing to like work. He's like, yeah, I just want to sleep, but I still want to know all this stuff. It's like, well, you're like 30% annoying, so keep that up, Nintendo.
I mean, like the Bernadetta one, for example. I haven't seen as much fruit with what's his name, Sleepyhead, but like when it comes to like, I can still see in the conversations that I'm having with her that you can see her kind of coming. She may not want to leave her bedroom or whatever, and fine. She ultimately does for the battles, are sucked in. Once the teacher says you come, she comes. But that works in a few different ways, unfortunately. That's a horrible thing to say. You couldn't stifle that, and I lost it. But like when you chat to her, you could see she's slowly coming out of her shell. Like she doesn't cringe at everything. She's not, oh my god, the whole world is out to kill me. She explained and you start to learn that story as to why. She talks about like her dad and the way her dad treated her and all those sort of things.
All the dads in this game are assholes.
I mean, that's a fantasy world for you.
Yeah, it's like, they're all just mad kings, burning people at the.
Back to Game of Thrones again.
Yeah, which I think is great. I think this came out at a perfect time too, like because the hype of Game of Thrones has kind of died off so much, and I think if it had come out during Game of Thrones, there would have been a huge issue. I think if it had come out during the hype of something around Harry Potter, another huge issue. This is coming out in a beautiful little like pocket of nothingness that's fantasy related. Like The Boys on Amazon Prime is taken off, so it's like, and so everyone's thinking like sci-fi and action comic books. No one thinks about the little pocket of fantasy down here, and
it's killing sales wise. Like I've only heard good things. I mean, Nintendo haven't published big proper formal numbers, but it's selling like hotcakes apparently, and there's more social media buzz about the game than I've seen about any previous Fire Emblem. And I get that it's still building out in the West. It's not like what it is over in Japan.
Oh, no.
But it's getting there. It's good times for everyone who has even a partial interest in all things Fire Emblem.
Yeah. I mean, if you were like, I just want a story-driven game at this point in time, what do I buy? Looking at the top charts, it's like, Fire Emblem, I've heard a lot about this. You play it. Like, if you do like Game of Thrones or Harry Potter, or if just something story-driven, it ticks a lot of boxes for people in a lot of different ways. Like, I mean, I was sick of... all I wanted was a game like Legend of Zelda when I was playing the DS, and someone was like, hey, this isn't exactly that, but the story's fantastic. And that's how I got into Fire Emblem, and I'm like, that was the best choice I ever made. Like, so hats off to that.
Oh, they do good stuff. So, Damo, as we start to wind things down,
we will be
one big question before we dive into all the social stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Could you ever possibly see Matto actually playing this game?
I could see him being the one guy, the only...
He's listening right now. He's absolutely listening, so he can make his witty Twitter quip.
The only person in the entire world that straight up chose Golden Deers will be Matto. The statistics will come out. Everyone would have chosen Black Eagles or Blue Lions, and there will be Matto, the 0.0001%.
He won't be the only one. Sarah picked them as well. So,
well, Sarah, you and Matto can go and have kids or whatever, and make little golden deer babies, whatever. No, and that's fantastic. But like everybody that I know, it's all been like blue and black.
Yep.
But no, I think I think that it's fantastic that like. Yes, this is something Matto will be playing.
Oh, he will be playing. I like that.
He will. Like, I don't think
Once
you
he
can
finally
buy a
buys his
Switch and kind of not get sucked into the vortex that is, it's like, because eventually you just get to this point when you're playing games. You're like, I want something that's not too challenging, but has enough for me. That's Fire Emblem every time.
This is the one. It's an absolute gem, and you couldn't be singing its praises much higher, from what I can gather.
No, I really do love it. I love the recruiting system. I even love the tea time system. I love the lecturing. I think that's a really unique thing. I love the classes. Again, I love that this game isn't as easy to build a broken character team like Fates was.
Yeah.
And I like that it's instant replayability with New Game Plus and with the story. And I will say this: I love how they make it seem like there is something going on underneath everything that's happening. Every time you talk to a character or you encounter something, there's always this like hint of something else, and it's like, and it's great because that's, to me, that's also instant replayability. It's like, because you're like, well, what's the other side of that story? And then you're playing it and you're trying to compare, like right now I'm trying to compare blue and black, and it's like, it's like, oh, okay, this feels different in this way, and I think that's great.
That's a fair bit of praise there. And like I said before, at this current stage, and there are things that are still to come, your Borderlandses and all those sorts of things in the world, that could change my opinion. And the one that I did declare before as the Game of the Year to be Luigi's Mansion 3. But at this current point, my favourite game of the year, it's knocked off Resident Evil 2, and I can't wait to get back to it. I just... it's little bite-sized chunks at the moment, for the most part, unfortunately. So, Damo, you exist on Twitter. Where can you be found?
At Tacos Talks. On most socials, you can find something about Tacos Talks and you'll find me.
Oh, you Tacos Talks on Instagram and those sorts of things too?
No, I think if you just search Tacos Talks, there's enough hashtags that I've dropped that it's there.
Oh, right. Yeah, okay, I'm with you. Paul James Games for myself, Player2AU for the website. Visit the website, player2.net.au. I'm not going to go through the usual spiel because there's lots of awesome things to be found there, and those things are awesome. Except for an Ion Fury review, you won't find that there. And again, I still hardly know anything about the situation. I just know what's happened. So, get wrecked. Like, share, subscribe to this channel. If you're listening on a podcast service, chuck us a 5-star review. We're on Patreon, patreon.com/player2au. And, of course, be like King Kong Long Dong Schlong, whatever his name was, kicking a few bucks there and help the Player 2 dream to grow. He may not even be a patron anymore, but we're going to stick with it regardless.
This probably somebody else has
King Kong Long Dong
taken that spot, and you just keep bringing up the one guy. Well, poor people.
I suppose I can't really go digging into it at the moment. I'll have to get Matt to check at some point to let me know if King Kong Long Dong Schlong is still there. But
and also giving 5-star reviews actually helps people come to our podcast, which
visibility
helps them like talk about the stuff that we like talking about, which is obviously you, the listener, like talking about too. So it's a quadruple win situation.
Visibility is a very handy thing, and we very much appreciate it. Cheeky little plug for Dev Diary. In the next few days, I'll be teasing who the next guest is. And if you like Mario and Rabbids, you might want to tune in for this coming episode. That's Dev Diary, Podcast Services, different feed. That wraps up this episode, though.
Wrap.
And as always, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time. Go out and play Fire Emblem. Matto, go out and buy a Switch and play Fire Emblem. Do it.
I'll buy you the season pass if you do.
There you go. Spend $400-500, save $35.
Yeah, exactly. It's a win-win.
See you next time.
See yous.